and welcome back to the Back of a Length podcast. This is our third episode of our third season. Hello, Marc.
Hello, Renee. 3 for 3. Or if you're Irish, 3 for 3. Don't know where that came from. Anyway, hello. Sorry.
Hello. I did not expect us to go so international so quickly, particularly when this episode is going to be all about our New Zealand competition.
Yeah, that's right. We've had a lot of domestic action going on this week, and also the Black Caps have been in action as well, with 3 remaining T20s against Pakistan.
Yes, they did. That all wrapped up on Sunday. The highlight of the past week, of course, Finn Allen scoring 137 last week in Dunedin, an absolute blinder. The equal those sixes in an innings. Scored with someone from the mighty country of Austria.
Actually?
Yeah, he actually broke a lot of records that are actually held by a number of minor European leagues, which, side note, was just like super enjoyable to watch. But congratulations to Finn Allen on that, absolutely cementing his place at the top of the order. Black Caps 4-1 in that series.
Yeah, pretty sensational from Finn Allen, and I think I know exactly why he found himself into a little bit of form. So what we need to do next time we go to a Black Caps game, which will be in February against Australia, you need to get CHAPMAN on your fingernails, because apparently that is what gets somebody into a good bit of form.
I think it's too late for Marc Chapman.
Yeah, same.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk the SuperSmash, because we won't be seeing the Black Caps for a little while, as we said. So the final games played on Tuesday of this week. Let's start with the most disappointing part of this for us, and that is the performance of the Hearts.
Yeah, finishing bottom, although there's slight silver lining as it is finishing tied bottom with the Magicians. A disappointing tournament. I can't really think of too many positives.
No.
I did highlight Maddie Green on the first episode, and she did have a good tournament, the Hearts, but not really too much support, it doesn't seem, from the rest of the team. And they will be disappointed with that. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, they will be. They had a lot of players playing the second or third round of the tournament, so I really was expecting a lot more than that. Also a little bit more from the Magicians, Frankie McKinley, so similar vein to Maddie Green, where they've got that really international experience right at the top, and then maybe some not so much experience, but hopefully those two teams can do better next season. Up the top, what a surprise that this has happened for probably the 20th season in a row. It's a bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah, if you are surprised by this, then you obviously just do not follow New Zealand domestic cricket. If I was a gambling man, which I am, I wish I had put money on the Blaze to win the tournament at the start, but I probably wouldn't have had much of a return for my money, because they just, pun intended here, they just blaze everyone away.
They do, and it's not just
Class
because
above.
they have Millie Kerr and Sophie Devine, and Sophie Devine did sit out much of this season on a health break. Their whole team's playing really well. They've got Lee Kasparek, they've got Georgia Plimmer, they've just got such a great, well-rounded team.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Amelia Kerr, 402 runs. She's the top run scorer in the competition. Also 20 wickets, so she's the leading wicket taker in the competition as well. 4 ahead of the aforementioned Lee Kasparek. So just shows how much strength in depth the Wellington Blaze have.
Yeah, and we do expect the Wellington Blaze to take out this competition, but they should have some bit of fighting spirit from whoever they will play in the final. At the moment, it will come down to the Hinds or the Brave. They are playing in the playoffs this Friday.
Who's your money on?
The Hinds.
The Hinds, yeah, fair
They
enough.
look a bit better. The Brave have got themselves off the bottom of the table to actually make the final, which is like pretty good kudos to them. But just the Hinds look a lot better.
Yeah, for those who weren't sort of watching last year or are new to the SuperSmash, the Brave did finish bottom of the table and had a relatively miserable competition. So, yeah, as you say, really good that they've been able to turn that around and get themselves into finals contention. We will let you know next week how that all unravels.
But speaking of things not being miserable, or the opposite of what I just talked about, the Aces have somehow finished on the top of the men's table and will host the final at Eden Park this Sunday. I did not see this coming at the start of this competition.
I gathered by the fact that you said that it was, but the way you described that was almost as if it was a miracle.
It was a little bit.
Well, they've had good players through the tournament, right? Like, they've obviously had Finn Allen opening when he's been available, which got them off to a good start. You know, Guppy was in there at the start of the tournament as well. And the bowlers, I think the bowling's probably made a difference as well.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, Donry Ferns is leading wicket taker with 18, and he's 4 ahead of Logan Van Beek, who's in second place. I think all rounds, they've just been a better team all rounds. Runs at the top of the order, which has taken a bit of the pressure off the middle order, and then wickets first up in the power play, which obviously puts teams behind the 8 ball a little bit. So I am not overly surprised that they are top of the table, because that's where they should be, really. You think about it, like any Auckland sports team in New Zealand, and this isn't any disrespect to anybody else in New Zealand, but for the city that's got 35% of your population, you've got a massive talent pool to pull from. You shouldn't be finishing like second bottom of the table each year.
Yeah, I think we're just so used to seeing the Kings and the Firebirds being more up the top. Those guys have also got a lot of black caps in their squads, and very consistent squads for those who aren't on international duty. But those two teams are going to play off in the elimination final this Friday. And I know I very quickly answered who my money is on the women's competition, but not so much the men's. Well, I know who I want to win.
Go on, who do you want to win?
Well, I would like the Kings to win, so that when we go to the final on Sunday, I can see Michael rip on one more time.
Neither was an ulterior motive. Neither was one more time. Where's he going?
Well, he's going nowhere. It's just one more time this season.
Ah, right, okay. Christ, I got a little bit scared for you there for a second.
Oh, I know. Unless I become a super fan and pop down to like the Plunket Shield when it's on.
I don't think he or anybody else would want you to do that, I'll be honest.
I would do it for Michael Rippon.
I know you would do it for Michael Rippon. You should probably check whether he wants you to do it, though, just in case that
okay, fine. I guess I'll just have to speak with Michael Rippon to clarify all this.
What
have you
mate.
done?
What a tough life. Yeah, the Kings have been in good form, and they're relatively consistent, as you say, over the last couple of years. Biggest surprise for me, though, and it probably shouldn't be a surprise, but it is a surprise. Henry Nicholls is, he's 7 runs behind Dane Cleaver, who's top run scorer for the tournament. And you'd have to say that if the Kings do get through to the final, he has a really good chance of finishing top run scorer for the competition.
I hope he does it.
Where is this come from?
It would be so funny. He's been playing really well. Do you know what I do like about Henry Nicholls? Is he forms really good partnerships in a T20, and him and Tom Latham have really helped the Kings throughout this season. So I'm surprised he's up there. Well, I'm surprised he's nearly number 1. I'm not surprised he's sort of in the top 5 or 8 of top run scorers. He's also probably played more games than you realise, having not really been on international duty.
Yeah, he'd have played all 10. But he's a supposed test specialist who's been, considerably out of form in that environment for the last sort of 18 months. But maybe, question, playing devil's advocate on the team that we have at the moment, if Henry Nicholls does finish as top run scorer and finds a little bit of test form, and you'd have to imagine that he will be making the test squad at least, if not the starting 11 against South Africa, do you take him to the T20 World Cup?
Absolutely not. Look, it's great for Henry Nicholls, but you have to think that if you had the Black Caps in the domestic competitions that weren't available due to international, so the likes of Finn Allen, Will Young, he scored 100 and then went to international duty. You've got the likes of Williamson, Conway, Seifert, Phillips. If those people were playing 10 domestic games, they should be the top run scorers.
Yeah, you would imagine so. But do you know what? Fair play. I've been really critical of Henry Nicholls in the past, and probably will be in the future. But fair play to him for answering some of those critics this year during the SuperSmash. As we say, we've got the Firebirds and the Kings to play off for the chance to play against Aces in the final, which is this weekend at Eden Park. Let us know if you're going down, and
yes, we are going to bring
as well.
Yeah, we're going to bring the party vibes to Eden Park this Sunday. So get on down. It is a long weekend, so no excuses. You don't have to go to work on Monday. Now, Mark, before we wrap up the Super Smash chat, can we give a massive shout out to Hamish Rutherford from the Otago Volts, who will retire from cricket at the conclusion of this tournament. What an innings he has had.
Yeah. He was one of the first Black Caps players that I became aware of, right? Because he made his Test debut against England, and in his first innings in Test match cricket, he smashed 171 in Dunedin.
Woo!
And I was like, holy smokes, where has this guy come from? Didn't quite sort of meet expectations for the rest of his Test career, but he's been a solid performer throughout the domestic circuit for the many years that he's played. So yeah, congratulations to Hamish Rutherford on his retirement. Very well deserved.
Very, very well deserved. It will be a big hole to fill in that Otago squad next season. We'll wait to see who it could be. Will it be someone stepping up, or will it be a little sneaky transfer? We will find out later on.
Now, before we get into the first 11 of the week, we did touch briefly on the Black Clash last week, and I didn't get to watch it. Unfortunately, I was too busy doing other things, but it looked like a bit of a ripper of a game. One highlight, though, we obviously talked about spectacular catches last week.
We did.
We unfortunately are talking about the best catch that never was this week.
Tell me.
The best catch that never was. I don't know if you've seen it. So the team cricket were batting, and the batsman at the time, whose name has escaped me, played a beautiful straight lofted drive, and the boundaries were brought in at the Bay Oval. So the boundaries brought in. Didn't really matter for Ruben Love. So those of you who are fans of rugby, he was obviously on Team Rugby. He is the halfback for the Hurricanes and also Wellington in the Bunnings NPC. Anyway, so he's running back. He sees the rope and he basically just dives full length backwards and takes a one-handed specky catch over his head. It's really, really hard to describe. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Ben Stokes' catch against South Africa in the opening game of the 2019 World Cup? Don't know if you remember it. It was very, very similar. And you'd say, for somebody who is a professional cricketer, you go, that is one of the best catches you've ever seen. The fact that this guy plays rugby and is just having a bit of a charity hit about and pulls off a spectacular catch like that, for me, I would have just gone, do you know what, you can have that. Take the catch. Doesn't matter if you went over the boundary for 6, you are claiming that catch, and that catch is going in the book as a successful catch. It was incredible. We'll post the link if I can find it on our Twitter page at back of a length with a little underscore, or our Instagram page, which is at back of a length. You have to see it to believe it. It was just insane.
Can I just say, I love that you still get excited by really good catches.
It's one of my favourite things. I love seeing people get clean bowled, but I wasn't very good at cricket, and I was always like one of the best fielders, which is I only made the team because we were short, and then you just kind of pick somebody to stand in the field, right? But I was very good at catching, and I just think that the most spectacular part of the game, if you see somebody diving full length in midair and claiming a catch one-handed, it's just one of the best things to see as a spectator for me.
It is good, eh? Because
it's quite rare, right? Like, yes, you see people hitting sixes out of the ground. Yes, you see people getting clean bowled. That happens quite often. But a spectacular catch, something like this, it's more common that it's dropped than it is taken. So that's true. I do get up for a specky catch.
Oh, well, hopefully we'll see some more of them throughout this season, so Marc can get excited.
Thanks for putting that weirdly. Moving very swiftly on from my excitement. Something you're excited about. It's the first 11 of the week.
Of the week. Yes, time for my favourite segment, First 11. And this week we have gone back to the theme of looks. And we're going to go first 11 of players that rocked classically good moustaches.
Is there any reason that you've chosen this particular one this week, or have you just picked one?
Mostly I have just picked one, but I will say Hamish Rutherford was known to rock and bow at some points of his career, so this can be in honour of him while he actually won't be on the first 11.
That's a shame. Who do we have then? Who's knocked him out of the 11?
Alright, in at 1 we have David Boone, in at 2 Shikhar Dhawan, 3 Alan Border. You're going to notice a theme here, some really like 70s, 80s moustaches. 4 is Javad Miandad. 5 is, of course, Rod Marsh. 6, Merv Hughes. 7, Jack Russell. 8, Richard Hadley. 9, the modern-day great Ish Sodhi. 10, the big man from Australia, Mitchell Johnson. And 11, Lockie Ferguson. Maybe he'll bring it back for the SuperSmash final.
Bring back the Mo. That's the one. Which is your favourite moustache out of all of those?
Ooh, I'm gonna hate myself for saying this, but I think Mitchell Johnson.
Really? Oh, I'm disappointed in you. Mine
Ooh, who
is
would you say?
Shika Darwin because he has that moustache where he kind of twirls the ends, and you
Yeah.
just think if you put a tweed cap on him and give him a pipe, he could very well make a fictional English detective, like Sherlock Holmes, for example.
There you go. Maybe it can be his secondary career.
It could well be. It could well be. Although I'm sure he's made more than enough money off this career because he's a bloody fine player.
That is
Um,
true.
that is our episode for this week. Do feel free to give us a shout out on back of a length with a little underscore on Twitter. Still refuse to call it X because it just doesn't flow off the tongue as well.
Same.
Or if you are on Instagram at back of a length, let us know what you think of this week's episode. Let us know if you do have any suggestions for the first 11 of the week. And we will post that catch from Ruben Love and let us know if you've seen a better catch than that.
Yes, and remember to tune into all the finals week of the Super Smash this week. Up the Aces on Sunday. Say hi if you're around. Otherwise, have a spectacular week.